Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to your favorite convention-related podcast, Con Job. This week, we're going to be doing a review of Dragon Con. We're going to have it in a couple different segments because we're going to be doing a review from my standpoint on the top floor of the show. And then we bring in Jeremy Lentz, who's been on the show before from Scorched Design. He's going to be doing a review from his view of the show from his floor. And hope you guys enjoy it. Without further ado, Alexa, Dylan, hello.
Hello, how are we
Hola.
doing?
I was trying to think of something like, sporty or something. I don't know, but I came up with nothing. I came up with hello. So hopefully you enjoyed that.
That's worse. The worst. Absolutely.
I disagree,
Mhm.
but X gets the square. No? Shadow Stevens? Anyone?
No.
Hollywood Squares? No?
No.
Am I too old for that?
Circle gets the square.
Okay. Anyway, we're here to I guess you guys both want to grill me on Dragon Con, right?
I mean, I don't care about Dragon Con because I don't get in. So I'm bitter Betty.
A lot of people who don't get in, and we didn't get in for a really long time.
I'm right there with you. It eludes us.
It's the elusive.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one to get in. I mean, we got in. I think I only got in because of COVID.
Well, and for talking's sake, they do a great job at curating the floor. I mean, there's
they don't like to have multiples of the same
Yep.
things. Yeah.
I mean, I do appreciate that. They told me we have enough artists, and I said, "Oh, well, we do this, this, and this." They're like, "Yeah, but you're primarily art. We have enough artists," and it was kind of that.
That's the same
You
thing.
should
She's
tell
like
him-
2 minutes class.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe you should try and just hit him with everything but the art, Dylan.
Yeah, the art is still though like what we
Yeah,
primarily
It's
are.
your primary
I agree.
thing.
I agree. It's the moneymaker. But
Yeah, she had
Anyway.
asked me. She's like, "Could you just do whiskey glasses?" And I'm like,
you could.
"But I wouldn't make any money."
Right.
Yeah.
So-
So what
all right,
was
so it
Dragon
was-
Con, Ryan?
It was Friday to Monday, right? Because it runs on, is that Memorial Day, Labor Day?
Yep, Labor Day
Is
weekend.
it always a
Boxer
Monday,
Day?
or is it
It always ends on that Monday, yeah. And so it was August 30th through September 2nd, I believe.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, and I know there's stuff that runs on the 29th because when we get there on August 30th, there's already parties going on.
Yep.
And for those that don't know, there's 5 hotels that are included in this party because they're all connected by a sky bridge. And the parties are rampant. And we stay as the Marriott, the Westin, the Hilton. There's 2 other ones. I don't even know what they are.
The
but
Sheraton, I think.
Sheridan, yeah, that's one. And then the
Motel 6.
no, it's actually not the Motel 6, unfortunately. But maybe next year. But yeah, so it's a party. It's a party show, and that, I mean, holy crap. I have some videos that I'll post when I post the Instagram link for this one. It's I took videos of the party, and this was, I think I only took them at the Marriott because that's where we stayed. And it was
look at you.
on Saturday. It was on Saturday, and there's 50 something floors in there, and we were on the 29th, and you're just out of kind of earshot of hearing the people screaming and yelling the whole time, but you can feel the nonstop all night until I think it ends at either 12 or 1, except on Saturday it ends at 2, and then Sunday it also ends at 12 or 1. But you just kind of feel the bass. So I just put my AirPods in on noise canceling and off to
Now-
Neverland.
Those of you that don't know, if you've been to Dragon Con and you watch Disney Plus, the Marriott Marquis was actually used in the first season of Loki as part of the TVA.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, if you
Ryan,
go ahead.
Ryan
even know
admitted
who
he hasn't
Loki is.
seen anything
I
beyond
don't
Age
even know
of
who
Ultron.
Loki. Oh wait, I know who
So-
Loki is. That's his brother. That's the Hammer guy's brother, Thor.
the Hammer
Jesus.
guy.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
what?
MC
Ryan,
Hammer. MC Hammer's brother, Thor.
You're no longer right there. You're no longer allowed on this podcast. Good
I'm
Lord.
sorry. I couldn't get past Age of Ultron, and that was it for me. Remember, I'm also older than you guys, so I have that old man like
You're
get off
a year
my lawn.
older than me. Shut up.
It's a long time.
Well, and you know what? Your hairline shows it.
Yeah, well, wait until I go to Turkey. Just saying.
My God.
Wait until I go to Turkey.
So there's a
I'll be
lot that we
looking
could
like-
talk about with Dragon Con. We could talk about the parties, we could talk about the culture. Let's like start talking about what we always do. Let's talk about those load-ins, because this is a unique building that you guys load into.
Yeah, so it's America's Mart, and it's Building 2. There's a few of them, but I don't know anything about the other ones. I just know look for the signs for Building 2. This year they had a marshaling yard. I did not have to go there because we got there. I mean, I think it ended at like 10 or 9. We got there at like 5 or 6. Marshaling yard had just closed, so they're like, just go straight to the loading docks. See, I don't even know what they're called because I don't use them very often. But this show we do it because we drive. You pull in and it's underground, obviously, and they just give you a little spot, and they tell you have an hour. Years past, that was, it was very loosely applied. This year, I had about an hour and a half before they called me and I had to move. But yeah, it's cool because you walk in and it's right on the docks, and you go up to the little table, and they have these giant carts that you can rent. Well, not rent. You give them your license, and they all have a number, and you could just take it up. So you can pretty much do like we do, basically one. This year I had 2 loads, and there's a right next to it is the freight elevator. So it's those gigantic elevators where you can fit like your entire car in it, and it brings you right up to your floor. And our booth happens to be like 1 aisle over from that elevator, so it works out perfectly. So we can get everything up there, and then I go down and get stuff while Meg's setting up. And yeah, the load in. I mean, I can tell you it's the complete opposite of Comic Palooza from whatever that year that was, 2018. I'm going to talk about it forever. But what was it, like 2018,
2021, Ryan.
Was it then?
It was literally 3 years ago. You whiny.
No. It was pre-COVID, wasn't it?
No, it was
so
the first
I'm
show we
allowed
did
to
out
still
of
talk
COVID.
about it. Then I'm still allowed to talk about it because it was god awful. They made me walk around that damn building, and then
I should have just told him it was pre-COVID. Good lord,
wheel broke. It was awful. Oh, it was so miserable. So you can't just let me in. Anyway, I digress.
So with the America's Mart, have you ever walked around the America's Mart, Ryan? Like,
I've walked around the actual building. No,
okay.
Well, yeah, I have. I take that back. I have. I don't know when I look. Is there a question that goes with that? Because I have.
Yeah. So the America's Mart is not a convention center.
Right.
In traditional means, it's a.
It feels like an office building.
No, it's a wholesale market.
Okay.
There in all these buildings, there's different companies that rent out space, and they do trade shows there. For like home decor, different industries. So they come into the Trade Mart. So this is not even.
So that makes sense.
Yeah, it's not even really a building that's designed for what we do specifically.
Yeah, it feels almost. I was gonna say it feels almost like office space. You know what I mean? And there is 4 floors, and the art one's on the top. That one has an actual roof that's like 8 feet. So it's almost like what you would see if you walked into like a customer service center. We just picture desks being there, and it feels like that, but there's no desks, obviously. And it has an 8-foot ceiling, or whatever, not much higher than 8 feet. And the downstairs ones, 3, 2, and 1, are all much higher. I'd say probably 20-foot ceilings, but it still has like an office space feel to it, if that makes sense.
So you said this is between 5 hotels. Is like the exhibitors and the artists, is that all just one hotel and then another hotel?
So the exhibitors, the show takes place in the America's Mart building. Okay, and the hotels are kind of around it, or within a couple of blocks of it. What's that for? Huh?
No, the exhibitor hall is the only thing that takes place in that building. The show doesn't take place there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Good, thank you for correcting me. Yes.
Yeah, come on. But get with it, Ryan.
I know there is an artist. I don't know. I want to call it Artist Alley, but there is some sort of artist exhibit because I know some other artists, and I think that one's at like the Hilton or something. And that's the only one that I know of at any of the buildings. I could be wrong there, but that's the only one I know of. All the rest takes place in the America's Mart.
As far as the vendor end of things, yes. But the show itself takes place over all of those hotels, Dylan. You've got. I used to be an attendee, so I did the other side of it because I never stepped foot into the merchant hall. But the celebrities that end up there, the panels, the all the parties and the events and whatnot, those all happen over the course of all of those buildings. So you've got, the Marriott, you've got, different things happening in their convention center and their meeting rooms. There's, cosplayers are in random spots. You've got, it's a gigantic bit of organization that these guys have that they're able to spread it out as much as they do.
This makes sense. I know. Shout out to the Muscle Nerds. It's like a cosplay bodybuilding event, and I know it's in one of the hotels, and there was actually an Amazon documentary on them, and it was basically Dragon Con, but one section of it that seems to just be one thing of this, like it's its own separate thing. So
I have not
I think,
seen any. I don't remember seeing any bodybuilders because we
well,
did. I remember doing Tampa Comic Con one year, and it was the same week. Or no, it was a volleyball thing at the Tampa Bay Convention Center for my daughter, and I remember seeing the bodybuilders, and you can't miss them. They're all
Were they
walking around with their
costume,
little
though?
shakes. They're all walking around with their little shakes, and they have their little chicken because they have to have their carbs and their protein. So, yeah. So anyway, continue.
I'm Ryan just described like I was
No, it
waiting
was.
for him to go. Oh, he's in a speedo and
Well, yeah, a lot of them were, and they're all tanning. They spray that spray tan on, so their muscles are. Yeah. Anyway, it's what I do too when I walk around. But yeah, I mean the show takes place, and then like we'll get back into it. So it's 4 floors. The first 3 are I guess just vendors of all kinds of different sorts. There's everything there, and like we said earlier, there's not a lot of one thing. And then the 4th floor is called Pop Artist Alley, Pop and Artist Alley, and it's just artists. They don't, you're not going to see Funkos up there. You're not going to see people selling, they have comic artists, but you don't see the comic booths where we got the guys shuffling through with all the boxes of comics. They have the actual guys that do comics. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's no comic book sellers other than if hey, this is Neil Adams, this is my booth, even though he's not selling anymore. Unless
Do you
he's
like this
selling.
multi-level like floor system?
It
'Cause-
works. It works for this show. I can tell you, it does not work at Emerald City just yet. It does work for this show. There's been, it's in our top 3 every year. So
the
it definitely
thing
works.
is,
But it's been
the
going on
crowd is
forever. It's been going,
conditioned.
yeah, it's been going on 30 plus years.
Yeah,
So yeah, they know there's multiple places to go, and they know, and the escalators are on both sides, so everybody knows they just keep going up. And they have tons of signage on every floor. There's food at the end of every floor, so they have it very well laid out.
yeah. It's definitely like when you go to Dragon, you know that you're going to stand in line waiting for the vendor hall.
Yeah, that line, that's crazy. There was people still coming in at like 4 o'clock some of the days, and it was ending
Yep.
at 7. There was still a
Yeah.
line outside.
Yeah, it's usually about a 2-hour wait to get in.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna call out vendors. Shut up. Stop whining about this. Hey, they had to wait 2 hours. There's a big line. This is stupid. This is hurting my sales. No, it's not. These people know
No,
what they're
there's
getting
plenty
into.
of people.
Yeah,
And us being on the 4th floor, we never complain. We know the people are coming. We know the people there going up there generally are looking for art. So
yep, it's typically those first year vendors that have never done it before that complain and complain and complain because they think that the show floor needs to be, I mean, for lack of better terms, assholes to elbows, and it doesn't have to be.
It gets that way. It
Yeah,
gets
but
that way.
the fire marshal is there. I mean, it's one of the few
Right.
conventions that I've ever seen a fire marshal actually shut down a building.
Now that's good for sales right there, shutting down the building.
I mean, well, it's good for safety. I mean, I get it, and I think most people that are buying at Dragon understand. Hey, there's going to be a wait. We need to plan to go to the vendor hall because it's our only day going. A lot of people won't do the multiple days in the hall.
Well, cool. So you set up the day before, right?
Yes, we set up on Thursday.
And we all know how you feel about 4-day shows, and this is your second one back to back. So how how is your first
It's
4 day of the show?
Mega. I've said it many times. New York, Mega, and Dragon are the only ones that I really feel justify a fourth day, and it didn't say, yeah, I'll take that one and agree.
Oh,
Even
and
San
the fourth
Diego?
day being a
Change.
Friday is
San Diego's
also kind of
5.
unique.
San Diego's 5 days.
Oh, yeah, it is 5.
Yeah, so I've been to that one. So yes, that one works too. But what were you saying, Dylan?
Just that, this is sounds more like a unique that it's 4 days, but the first day is a Friday instead of a Thursday. So
Yeah, but again, they have stuff that happens for Dragon Con on Thursday. You know what I
And
mean? So
even
Dragon Con
Wednesday now.
happens. Oh, do they? Okay. So
Yes,
I
yeah.
just
People have started getting there on Wednesday and doing their own things. It's
Yeah.
I
Okay.
I get a
But I know
feeling
they
in the
have
next 10
they
years
have
it's going to
theme
be a
parties.
week show.
Each of the hotels has like some of the ballrooms rented out for specific themed little parties. Like I know there's the one on Saturday. I think it's the Westin, but don't quote me on that. But it's called the Last Dance on Alderaan, and it's just a big rave party. You know, and they're showing kind of clips from Star Wars while they're playing.
The Bunny Hutch is probably the most popular party. It's all the girls and some guys do their bunny costumes, and they make their own take on characters. Like one of my friends has won multiple years. She did a bunny hutch, bunny pinhead, pyramid head.
I know
She's
where
done
I will
some
be
really
next
cool
year.
stuff.
The Bunny
Yeah,
Hutch
yeah,
party.
yeah.
There's no volleyball there though, Ryan. So
yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. So,
So let's
yeah.
talk about the first day of the show, because we've been talking for a while and we haven't even gotten into it.
Yeah, so first day is, I guess, is generally the slowest day. But it's not slow by any stretch. You know, it's a great, it's a good, I'll just preface this with saying all 4 days were very good. We were down slightly overall, but still happy. You know what I mean? I'll be first in line to re-up when it comes out. But yeah, plenty of foot traffic. I mean, all 4 days, plenty of foot traffic. Obviously, you get more on a Friday and a Sunday. Saturday is a little bit later. I know I'm getting ahead of ourselves. Saturday it starts a little bit later because they have a parade that goes on in the morning.
Yep.
So, but anyway, Friday. It didn't disappoint. You know, so a lot of people, a lot of buying, a lot of stuff in bags, a lot of people walking around with hands on bags.
What do you notice? Because I mean, we all know it's a party con. Do you notice that there's a certain demographic that comes earlier in the day versus later?
That's a good question. Yeah, I think it's more the adults that come earlier on in the week, like the Friday. I want to say it was more adults, but I don't think there was a ton of like groups of just like kids under 21. Most of them had
Really,
their parent.
yeah, it's really not a show for them anyway. So
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like you'd see a couple little, couple 18, 19-year-old girls, or two guys that were like around that age, but it wasn't very often. You know, they were mostly with the family or with a group of other older people.
And I mean, I bet this is a nice one that as soon as you're done, just go across the Sky Bridge, and then you're already at your hotel room, and you're
No, so we're the
putting your
America's
AirPods in.
Mart. We stayed at the Marriott. I know there is a bridge to, I think, the Hilton from there that's connected on one side, but we didn't stay at the Hilton. We stayed at the Marriott. So it takes 5 minutes to get there. It's just up over the little hill on the left, and that's I feel like that hotel is just freaking jam packed. It's so hard to get in. Like you got to wait for those elevators. It's a pain in the butt, but
the Hilton did something really good this year. Because there's so many people in these elevators. Because you guys are also battling the Georgia football game that happens as well.
yes. So it's always the kickoff of college football is literally right across the street on that Saturday. And this year it happened to be Georgia. It's not always Georgia who plays, but this year it was Georgia and Clemson, and so obviously we're in Georgia, and I mean that place was a madhouse. But the cool thing is a lot of people, because the game was a complete blowout, they beat them like 34-3. So once that game's over, you see a lot of people coming into the show because they're like, well, that sucked. If you're a Clemson fan or if you're a Bulldogs fan, you're like, all right, I'm on a high. Let me go check out what's going on over here. And you see people in there, dressed up like they just came out of the game. So a few years ago, I had a friend that went, and it was Miami versus Alabama. I went with them. I walked over and left Meg by herself for a few hours. He had an extra ticket, so that was fun.
Not for her, but for you.
Yeah, you got to keep her on her toes. Don't tell her I said that.
Speaking of Meg, was she with you this show, or were you solo?
Yes, we had her. Yep, she always comes to this one. This is She had a little stand-up table on the side. She dressed like a loofah almost again.
Like Seth Rollins?
Yes, she had her Seth Rollins jacket on. A few of them.
I swear, I think one of them takes fashion advice from the other. I really do. So let's talk about Saturday, because we kind of alluded to what was going on Saturday. What is it a normal Saturday, or just talk about it?
No, so I've double checking here my numbers, but I believe Sunday is usually our bigger day. I'm gonna check that, but I mean, when you say is it like a normal Saturday, it's busy and sales are great. But this show, Sunday is the better day. Sunday's the better day. Friday, it basically goes Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Monday. For the within a little bit of wiggle room, but Sunday is generally the best day there, and Friday is usually the second best day. So but Saturday is good. So don't I don't want to knock it. You know what I mean?
All right. I mean,
but people wise, it definitely feels it's a little slower burn because of the parade. The parade runs, I want to say, from 10 to 12.
Yeah, I think that's
I believe,
right.
And people line the streets like at Disney. It's like you can't even get across. So you got to get out of there before 10. You got to get into the show. It starts at 10, but you got to get in there before 10 because you're not going to be able to get across the street. But yeah, it's a slow burn. Once 1 o'clock hits, it's just like it's a madhouse in all the floors.
Since it's a
Friend of the show,
late
Mark
night
Muir,
party
was...
show.
Go ahead. Say again.
Is it a late show? Like, since it's a party show, people are partying till 2. Does that mean the vendor floor is open later than a normal show?
No, it runs till 7. It's 10 to 7. Yeah.
Then, what were you saying?
Oh, friend of the show, Mark Muir, was the grand marshal of the parade this year.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, Stan Lee was the last time that I did Dragon Con. Stan Lee was the grand marshal.
I was gonna say he was not the grand marshal this year.
No, he was not.
Sorry,
he was not.
Unless you mean the cups that are named Stanley.
I mean, maybe.
Okay. Anyway.
Maybe. So
there you go.
Jesus. Yeah, mine is not a Stanley cup. Mine is a Bubba, because Bubba.
Mine is a plastic cup.
Oh, well, you're terrible because that's a disposable.
No, it's not.
Is it not? Oh.
It's a keeper.
Okay.
Dishwasher safe. Unlike other people's glassware, I know.
That's a lie. Mine is absolutely dishwasher safe, you freaking schlub. So Sunday, I mean, you said Sunday's the day for you guys.
Right. And Sunday was our I felt like our make it or break it, because Friday was a little low, Saturday was a little low, and then Sunday was where we didn't make it.
Okay.
It wound up being our second best day, but it was clearly our best day the year before and the year before that. You know what I'm saying? So it was second best. So that's where we lost the majority of our percentage on Sunday. Talked to a few vendors, at least on our floor, said it seemed slow, but one of the vendors said their Friday was the best single day they've ever had at any show.
I talked to somebody that had that same opinion. They were like, Friday was killer for us.
Friday's not is one of the good days there. So it's Friday and Sunday. So I can't argue with that. But yeah, we Saturday was still good. So it's just a matter of trying to figure out why we were, what we were missing, because we had a lot of new stuff. So, and plenty of people, obviously.
No, I mean, we talk about it a lot when we're not online, but I mean, was your average sale off, or was it like the number of transactions?
I think it was the number of transactions. Our average sale was pretty much on par. We were slightly lower, but I want to say like $5. It
Okay.
wasn't anything like really noticeable. But yeah, I think it was just the number of transactions. Just trying to think if there's anything else to add. No, that's it.
But
Election year. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's funny because we've talked about that a gazillion times, whether it's just you and I or in groups and all this, but some shows I'm like, yeah, that's it. And then other shows it's like, holy crap, this show like was this good? So I don't know. I mean, I think that is what it is, and it baffles my mind because I don't understand what an election year has to do with anything because the money is the money. Like you have it or you don't. Why would you not have it more often in an election year versus in a non-election year? Or are they just holding on to it? But if they're holding on to it, what are you holding on to it for?
Because they're terrified.
uncertainty.
Of what? What's going to happen? If Trump wins, you think
Oh.
he's going to take all your money? Or if the Dems win, if Kamala wins, or Kamala, I don't even know. Is
When-
she going
when-
to take
when-
all your
when-
money?
when-
Like, what are we
when
scared of?
Kamala wins? When Kamala wins?
Either one. You know what I mean? Like, what's going to happen? Is one of them all of a sudden going to take all your money?
No, it's people.
So-
People are people. They are terrified of change, regardless of what that change could be, and they
I'm
think
scared
that
of change
holding,
too, but I wouldn't hold on to my money
yeah,
as a result of
Uh,
change.
yeah, you just hold on to your money because you're cheap.
Well, if you
Well,
saw the,
actually,
if you
you
saw,
hold on to your money. Your
I was gonna
wife
say,
does
if
not
you-
hold on to your money.
if you saw the new car we just got, you would definitely retract that statement. But
Wait, hold on. You got rid of the electric matchbox?
yes, we got rid of the electric matchbox for
Oh man.
a newer electric matchbox.
Oh
matchbox.
jeez. Oh jeez.
It's so pretty, Alexa. It's black,
Yeah,
red
well.
calipers. I'll send you a
Anyway.
picture.
Ryan, as he's talking to us from his the new wing that they built in the mansion.
The palatial estate. This
Yeah,
is Sonny's room. I put
Yeah.
that up so you can't see his closet because it's a mess in there.
probably a good idea. So let's move into Monday because we're kind of at that spot.
Can you
Yeah,
think of
so-
a single other show that has a Monday like to even compare to? Like, 'cause I can't think of any other show that has a
Do
Monday.
we do any shows that go to Monday? I mean,
Anime
other than
Expo, if the 4th of July is on that
Hmm.
Monday, you do get a Monday at Anime Expo.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I want to say this is the only show I've ever done that's had a Monday, but because it's a holiday, it feels like a Sunday. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So you don't even notice it because you're there and you're set up. You go to the show and it's like, oh, today's Friday, but it's really Saturday. Today's Sunday, but it's really Monday. You know what I mean? And it's like you're literally go. It's hard as crap to go find food to eat because there's so many freaking people there. And then you just go back to your room and either you do the parties or you don't. You go back to your room, put on your headphones, and go to sleep, and wake up and do it again. It's Groundhog Day. So, and I don't say that in a way that I'm like upset. Like it's great. It's a very fun show. And we do the parties. We just happen, now that I'm old and decrepit, I'm tired. I get tired. Like we went Saturday for parties. We had a bunch of people with us. Like Adam and Kaylee were there, and we just walked around and literally, I'd say an hour. I was like yawning. I'm like, dude, I'm tired. I'm gonna go back. So it was like 10:30.
I
That's
feel
old
like we're
age.
all getting to be like that at shows now. Like, I don't want to be out past like 9 o'clock.
Yeah, because I got to
We've
get up
explored
early.
all
I
the
got to go to
cities.
the.
It's like yeah, we've
You
done
got to
it
go
all.
to the gym. You got to get a little bit of work in, otherwise you're gonna feel worthless. So, but they do have Chick-fil-A in the building. It's one other thing I want to add,
I mean, it's
Except on-
Georgia.
except on Sunday.
It's on Georgia.
So,
It's
yeah.
Georgia.
It was nice, but anyway, it's nice to just go down and grab, chicken sandwich, eat it. But I digress. So Monday, right? We on Monday or Sunday?
We're
I
on
don't remember.
Monday.
Last
We're on
day.
Monday. So yeah, Monday was our third best. No, yeah, third best day. So Friday was actually our worst day, only by like $80 from Friday. So that's normal. So Monday's usually a pretty good show. I'm gonna look at prior years, but it's a strong show every day. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. It's just constant foot traffic. And then you get a lot of people that they know they're going to be there all 4 days, and they're like, "Hey, I'll come back," and it's like, "Oh yeah, all right, I'll never see you again," but they actually show up. And it's like, because I barely even recognize you guys, and these people come to the booth. I'm like, you look familiar, And she's like, oh yeah, I was here, Thursday or yesterday. I was like, oh okay, yep, I knew it. Although there are many times where I'm like, hey, were you here before? And they're like, nope, never seen you in my life. I'm like, okay. So, but yeah, it was busy. A lot of sales. You do get some people at the end too, which is nice because they're like, hey, we're getting ready to walk out, and I'm like, hey, if you want anything, like it's buy two get two free right now for the last 20 minutes, just so we don't have to bring all this crap home. Do some little specials like that. So, but yeah, happy.
So you had a good Monday, and then easy loadout. Did you load out that night?
So there's an infamous picture that I don't know if I ever want to share with you guys digitally, but I will show you on my phone because I don't want it to get out.
I'm concerned.
So meanwhile, I have the the gigantic black eye, right? Because this was like literally 2 days after it happened, so it's like very prevalent. And Meg's all worried people are gonna be scared to come to the booth, and so I'm wearing glasses, like I'm wearing these the entire time, like talking to people, trying to hide it, but you can still see it. So everybody's asking. I have to tell the story a million times. But anyway, loadout, we box up. They have the freight elevators, and you go downstairs. Now we park across the street because I don't use the loading docks for loadout because there's lines. It's just like every other show. There's a gazillion people in line. There's like 10 spots. It's a very small loading dock. So I park. There's a parking garage literally right across the street, and I think it's $20 to park there for the day. So I park, and it's right out the door, right across the street. I got in real early. I parked the truck right there, trunk up. I just start putting it in. But I had to do. I don't now because I didn't use the loading docks. I don't get that giant dolly. So friend of the show, Jeremy Lentz, allowed me to use his dolly. So I couldn't get everything on it in one trip. So I had to take 3 trips. Now, mind you, I'm wearing pants. I'm wearing a shirt. I have my hat on, because you have to look relatively presentable. If you're going to be next to Meg, you can't look like a schlep.
Meg dressed him, is what he's saying.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Anyone who's seen me knows that I don't dress myself, because if I do, I'd be wearing what I'm wearing now, white shirt and Celtics shorts. But anyway, so I do my trip. I go down, and now you're pushing all this stuff across the street because I'm like, oh, I'll put it all in one thing. And I'm pushing, and it's hard, and it's hot out. Get it in there, I start sweating. Second trip, I'm sweating like a pig, whatever, get it in. Third trip, Meg comes with me. Her stuff, she's got the little dolly, little tiny hand dolly that carries only like 40 pounds. Oops, it falls over in the middle of the street. And she just keeps walking. I was like, I got it. She's like, well, I didn't know what to do. There's cars. So I run over, pick it up, damsel in distress. That's what I do. We get everything there, and I have to just go back up and grab like one small thing. And I'm getting ready to walk out. She goes, hang on a second. Let me take a picture of you. I have the most awful swamp ass. I mean, I look like I shit myself. It was awful. My back, right down the middle of my back, just a line of sweat. And I'm pouring sweat off my face. And I have a picture of me looking over my shoulder with my black eye, sweat, my back, my swamp ass. It's the greatest, worst picture you've ever seen in your life. I will not share it.
I'm going to ask Meg to share it. I'm going to be like, hey.
I think I may have deleted it from her phone.
Uh-huh.
No, I haven't. I'll send it to you guys. I don't think I could share it. She might get mad at me. It's so bad.
So basically what we need you guys to do is you need to comment on whatever link you found this video on.
If I get enough comments, I may share the picture on the Instagram.
We'll illustrate it. That'll be your little icon.
Let me make sure I still have. Yeah, maybe I can.
That'll be his profile picture.
It is awful.
Look, I'm just trying to get some engagement going, you guys.
Yeah.
And look, if I've got to exploit Ryan,
that's all you get. Someone's gonna pause that. I know it.
Most replayed part of the YouTube video.
Exactly. Right there.
Okay, I'll post it. I need some comments before I post it. Though. How about that? We got a deal.
So let's talk about some of the abstract stuff from Dragon. You talked about staying at the Marriott Marquis. If anybody has ever stayed at Dragon before, they know that it is not easy to get a hotel reservation, and it's like the Hunger Games.
Correct. And one thing to tell you, if you are there and you're like, oh, I'm just going to go to these parties, you can't get into one of the hotels without a Dragon Con badge. You don't have to be a vendor or even be staying in the hotel, but you better be an attendee to Dragon Con or you are not getting in.
Yeah. Yeah. Or if you do have a hotel key, you can
you
get
show your
into
key
that hotel.
Correct.
I know,
I
like the
don't-
Marriott, they won't
I
let you in
don't
if you don't have one or the other.
Yeah, and I don't think you can get across the Sky Bridge. At least from the Marriott to the Westin that we went, they weren't letting people across without the ID or the badge.
Oh, wow.
Like, you couldn't just have a key and go, oh, I'm in the Marriott and I want to go over to the Westin. I think they'd be like, no, you can't go. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's a big deal, and there's stuff everywhere. Every shop, every restaurant has some sort of Dragon Con special, whether it's a Dragon Con drink or a Dragon Con appetizer. You know, like there's something themed around it, and they all have Dragon Con. I wouldn't say merch, but it's like you'll see like someone had like a blow up dragon just hanging. You know, Dragon Con welcome. You know what I mean? So yeah.
There's I mean, like you said, it's a nightmare to get food.
There's no point in driving.
No. The last time I did Dragon Con, we stayed about 15 minutes outside of downtown. And while it was a great idea, it was also a terrible idea.
Yeah,
because
Ubers
it was awful. But we were able to eat, and we didn't pay nearly as much for the hotel.
Yeah.
But it definitely it dampened the experience because it wasn't, you're not there on site doing all the things.
Right. Right.
Something that with the hotel thing, don't book Airbnbs and count on them being your thing, because some of these shady owners will let you book it on Airbnb 9 months, a year before the show, and you've got a great rate, and then they're like, oh crap, it's Dragon Con, and they cancel it and they book it on Verbo or whatever it's called. And they jack up the rates. And I've talked to a lot of people that have had reservations canceled and they're left with nothing.
Interesting. Okay.
So you guys book through like little promo emails saying like, oh, like book through Dragon Con, or you just try to book separately?
I would say it's if you can get in separately ahead of time, because I know those things are usually blocked off. And then if you're in the show, they send you a link, and you have to jump on it quick.
Yeah.
You have to jump on it quick, like honestly within 5 minutes, or it's gone. I'm not kidding. So it goes quick, but it's not just for us. I think they send it to everybody who has like a signed up badge at that point. So
there's like a waiting room, and a lot of people, if they
the waiting room,
if they've done it before, you're able to rebook. There's a lot of like nuances with it. It is definitely it's like the San Diego Comic-Con hotel lottery. You may or may not get it, and when it's going live, but you better make sure you got all your P's and Q's in a row.
Well, speaking of rebooking, you said you were down, but it was still an obvious rebook. Does that mean you can rebook on site for your booth, or is it something you don't get for later?
The first 3 floors are able to rebook on site and pay and be done. The artist alley, pop alley up top is, there's no guarantee that you're back. You have to fill out the application again. We've been 3 times. I like to think that we'll be back, but every year I see new vendors up there. So it's not a guarantee for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So like this, for example, Adam and Kaylee, this was their first year there. You know what I mean? So it's just a matter of being able to get in and get your application in, and because they jury everything.
Yep.
They literally jury it. It takes months. You can fill it out in October and you'll get it back in March.
Yeah, and you'll get a no.
You'll get a no, right? So,
but
it's always nice getting that yes.
Yeah, I do like the fact though that well ahead of time if you're going to be in the show or not, because it gives you time to plan, gives you time to do another show.
They plan, they definitely let you know, especially let you know in terms of, hey, you're in, so start looking for hotels. You know what I mean? Because they know it's not a joke.
Dylan looks like he has another question.
I'm just like, oh, man, everything you're saying is like, man, I want to end the show, but
Dylan's got stage fright. stage fright in the new podcast. He wanted to be part of it so bad, and he's like, I got all these questions. We get in here, and he's got 2 questions. He's just like,
Did you rebook? And
they don't call him the best color man in the business for nothing, do they?
That's right. So Ryan, the whole travel to situation. We talk about that a lot because you fly in. Why do you
No.
choose? Well, no, you fly into a lot of shows. Why do you choose
Oh.
to drive into this one?
Because we can bring a lot more stuff when we drive, and it's an 8-hour drive. So it's really, and then Reese is at Gainesville at UF, so we can stop and see her if we want to on the way. My mom lives in Flagler. I can always stop and see her. So we just drive, and then usually on the way home we'll stop at Disney on the way back. We didn't do it this year because we were too tired, so we actually went yesterday.
I was
I
gonna
don't
say you
believe
went
it.
yesterday. I didn't
Yeah.
get to hang out with you guys because
Yesterday
I
and
was
the
at
day-
I was at a
Yeah.
terrible convention that we'll
I
do a
can't
podcast
wait.
on later.
Can't wait to hear about that one. But yeah, we were there the
Yeah.
day before yesterday and yesterday. So, but yeah, but that's why we drive, because we could just bring. I pack. I have a Tahoe, and I pack that thing to the point of you couldn't fit. You couldn't put a sheet in there.
And I will say, if you're an artist traveling in, flying is a-okay.
Oh yeah,
because
yeah.
there's
That
there's
airport's
so much
close.
transportation.
Yeah, the airport's close, and Dragon Con's such a big thing. I want to say the airport has stuff. I know for gosh, what was the show we just did? Damn it, there was like signs there, at the airport. Hey, for this show, here's what you got to do to travel. Like, I can't remember. It's pissing me off, but yeah, I'm sure there's stuff at the airport where if you're like, hey, I'm trying to get to Dragon Con, but it's pretty close, so it's not like it's super far away.
Yeah.
You
Well, nothing in Atlanta is really close.
Yeah, that's a good
because
point, too.
it takes freaking 30 minutes to get 10 feet in Atlanta traffic.
Yeah, that's
Ugh,
true.
so bad.
The last 40 miles took us an hour and 10 minutes.
You were just south of there by the racetrack, if I'm not mistaken.
I just remember
it's
looking
about
and
right.
saying, because I remember going like 40 miles. It should take me about 40 minutes, especially the
Nope.
way I drive, maybe 35. But
Did you go
No,
home
took-
on Monday, or did we
no,
stay
we left
another
Sunday.
night?
We left Sunday. We got to
The
Warner
show
Robins,
happened.
Georgia.
Hold on. No,
Sorry,
no.
Monday. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. See, I told you,
Crackhead.
I'm off.
Crackhead.
We left Monday night.
Okay.
We stopped at Warner Robins, Georgia, on the way home.
Wow, the Bucky's there.
Yes, we
Yeah.
didn't stop at Buc-ee's and sleep there. We stopped at a hotel near there, and
Wait, they have
Yeah.
a Waldorf Astoria at Warner Robins?
no, they have a Hilton, and luckily we are Diamond members, so we got a room upgrade, or else Meg would not have had it.
That's
You know her
princess,
too well.
The princess suite. The princess suite. Got it.
You know her too well.
That's funny. So, Dylan? What else do you have? Because I don't have a lot.
I guess any advice to artists or just anybody on ways to get into the show? I mean, you guys are artists, and so anything special other than just applying like one would regularly do?
Honestly, no. I don't know anything.
Didn't grease any palms?
I didn't know anybody to grease. Now I know the greasers, but I didn't know the greasing technique. I didn't know who to grease at the time, because it just was one of those things where I applied, and I've said it before. I feel like COVID was the reason we got in. I think just a lot of people backed out because we had been declined for 1 or 2 years before that, and then I was like, oh my gosh, we made it. So yeah, but there's always people that don't go back, so you just keep applying. One thing to note, Dylan, I know you like the 35-foot banners in the back of you. 8 foot, that's it on the top floor.
Oh, is that right?
And they bring a pole, and if you are an inch above, they will tell you they want everybody. The pipe and drape is the limit of your height.
That's
So
interesting.
yeah, so you gotta keep that in
I
mind.
can see him like trying to rethink his entire setup right
See,
now.
I would have to,
He's like-
like,
He's like,
we'll make
maybe
anything.
this show's not for us. No,
No,
it is.
no.
I
definitely
just need somebody that sells glass to die, because that's the only way that I'm getting in, because those people have been there forever.
Yeah, and they, like I said, the downstairs, the first, second, third floor, they can re-up on site, and I want to say 99% do. It's like MegaCon.
Yeah.
It's a 99% rebook rate. I can't imagine anyone, unless they're just, hey, I'm out of the game, not rebooking. Heck, I would do one show a year just to do that. You're just for spend a weekend and make a little extra money. If I was done.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think if I were to ever quit this, there's like 4 shows that I would do. I'd
Right.
use my
Mhm.
vacation for
I'll
that
think about
and
that. Right.
do the thing. All right,
All right.
Ryan,
Well,
we'll take us home.
I get to do it again. All right. Well, Dylan, thanks for joining us on this. This is your first one with the three of us, huh?
I
At
like
least where
it.
you're interviewing and not interviewee.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was interesting hearing. I mean, this is a unique show. I don't. So nice to hear
Do
the
you have
take on it.
Do you have any thoughts on your position now as far as being the interviewer?
Yeah. Let's
Is
try
it
to.
harder or easier?
I'll try to mix it up. Think of some more random things because most part, we know how things go. So I'm like,
And I
what's
feel like you and I have already talked. I know Alexa and I have already talked about this, so it's kind of like, what did I talk about and not talk about before already? So
mm,
yeah. So
Yeah,
anyway,
and we'll have some better questions next time we do
I
an
freaking
interview
hope
with
so.
you.
It's not our first time. Jeez Louise. But I with this one though, I want to try to add some more people to it. So you may or may not get some additional input on this from other vendors. So stay
Yeah,
tuned.
I feel like we need to get a couple people to talk to us
Yeah, I
because
have some lined up. It's just a matter of making the schedules work. And if they keep pushing me out, then I'm pushing them out.
well, I'm going
If
to
you know
tell
what I
you,
mean.
people are tired of your sunshine and bunnies. I'm always a rock star act, man.
Well, there's no sunshine. It was some rainy days.
Oh, please.
Or
Oh,
as
we were
Brett
only down a
Michaels,
little bit.
as Shawn Michaels would say, some sunny days. Or no, wait, that was Bret Hart.
Sunny days are
Sunny
ahead.
days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Anyway, for those
innuendo.
who know, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
He was
All
talking to Shawn
right.
Michaels.
Well,
Yeah.
let's
Thanks for
wrap
tuning
this
in.
one up. If we have some more people, Ryan will do a little note at the end of this.
Yeah, and if you also do enough comments, just leave a comment and I'll post that picture on the Instagram.
Jesus Christ.
yeah. If
You're
any
gonna-
other vendors want to chime in and tell us like their little bits, their stories, like we'd love to hear how you guys got started and maybe like some tips you guys have for traveling all over the country because I mean it's not an easy job.
Yep, and we'll do some more of those too. We'll do some tips things that we talk about with the flying and the driving and all that. So we'll get more feedback. So all right, I've rambled enough. See you guys.
Deuces.
All right, guys, we're back, and we're going to continue talking about Dragon Con. Now we have another vendor from the show, Mr. Jeremy Lentz with Scorched Design and Patent Pop Art. And this may sound a little bit like some deja vu to you guys because we recorded already one show, and I will take the blame that I screwed it up. So we have to do the entire thing over again. So
We
I
got to rework the
apologize.
magic that was that first conversation.
Yes, and the fans will have absolutely no idea what we're talking about, but trust me, we already did this once a couple of days ago. So Jeremy had a hat on, just to give you an idea. But he and I go to the same barber, apparently.
Oh, I can tell.
Yeah. All my hair that I cut off, they put on his head. But again,
there you go.
When I get back from Turkey next time, you'll wish that I don't even know.
You
just wish that I looked.
You're gonna do the podcast right when you get back. You're gonna just have like all the bloody streaks going down your head.
I'll be looking like Ray Lewis. I'll have a do-rag on for a little while, probably. But after, it will be glorious, and I won't ever. I'll go outside and let the humidity just puff it up. Just go from there.
It'd be like that.
Anyway, so let's get back into Dragon once again for you guys. So Jeremy, you're on. So again, we're on the 4th floor. You're on the 2nd floor, right? And so let's talk about just how many years you've been doing it first, and then what you thought of this year in general.
So, fourth year, our favorite show, outside of our local show that we get to do some weird stuff for. But this year exceeded every expectation. It's Dragon Con, so for us, it has always done well. This was our best Dragon Con by far. We were up 40%. I know there was some people up, some people down. Biggest issue last year was kind of the fiasco with getting people in on Saturday.
Yeah, the fire marshal thing.
The fire marshal thing, like there's still like an odd traffic pattern there when it gets really, really crazy. When there's a line wrapped around the building. I don't know of any other shows that do that most of the time, even for the gigantic shows. Once they open, everybody kind of filters in and then that's it. Like there's no lines to get in for the rest of the day. So I think with Dragon being in the building that has 4 floors, there's something going on that the fire marshals, like, we can only have so many people in, and I know that's the case with any building, but it never gets that kind of solid, like, sardine kind of packed that you don't want all the time, but sometimes it's nice when you're like, it's Saturday, there should be a lot more people here. Steady is nice, but
I was gonna say
sometimes
they're
it is.
coming. They're coming. That's for sure.
Yeah. So what happens is they get released in waves, and I think as they get like a certain number of people coming out, they just send in the next 100 people or whatever it is. I don't know, but
And I don't know how other shows are compared to this one in terms of that, but I can tell you, people don't mind waiting in line to get in to this show. There's people I've seen, I'll see them at 6 o'clock at night, and they'll be like, "Yeah, I was in line at 1 o'clock."
yeah,
I'm like, "Good Lord!"
yeah. It's
Even in the rain.
It's so weird. It's
Even
so
in the
weird.
rain.
Yeah. Well, it's like people post memes about it. Like it's this this fun thing they do, and I know everybody would probably rather just make it inside, but I don't think that it. Yeah, they make the best of it, so it's okay. But Dragon's it's such a unique show. It's so hard to compare it to anything else.
Well, before you dive into load-in, you want to give some context as to what you actually vend with, and are you an easy walk through the front door with 20 pounds of posters like Ryan over here, or is it a whole thing?
20 pounds.
No,
Jeez.
we are. Load-in for us is always bad. Doesn't matter where we're at. We do we bring this show. We brought 2,500 slate coasters. So like one coaster, tiny and light, 2,500 coasters, very
and like
heavy.
you said, they're slate. So how much do they weigh each? Like a pound?
So you're literally talking about a ton of weight at least.
Yeah.
Just like coasters.
We're moving like rocks, and then one of our other things is we do a lot of acrylic, which is actually very heavy as well, and then we do a lot of wood products, which are also very heavy. So and bulky.
Sounds like a marketing mistake there.
Yeah. So it's a lot of people. There's a few other people that do what we do. Every time we kind of see each other at load, we're always having to be the first ones there, and we're always the last ones out together. And we look at each other and what are we doing? Why did we decide this?
And most of you can't see, but Jeremy has the largest quads I've ever seen due to all the lifting of this slate
tree trunk.
You don't need to go to Taekwondo. Just lift your load-in stuff.
It's actually
Barry Sanders.
Jiu-jitsu, excuse me. Sorry.
Jiu-jitsu, yeah.
It's actually funny because I have the world's tiniest legs. I have sticks.
And so, go ahead. Good.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. So you got tons of stuff you got to bring in. You said it's always a nightmare. Was Dragon Con's load-in any different type of a nightmare, or is it just the same? Well, you just got to get to the loading dock and move it.
So Dragon, once again, is pretty unique since it's a vertical room. It's not like you go to one of these big buildings that the dock's here and you have to walk 1/8 of a mile to get to your booth. They have 2 loading dock areas. Everything's so if you go on Wednesday, they have the ability to get in with an appointment, and you go straight to the building. You get you wait however long for your appointment. I know this year towards the end of the day, I think they were only 30 or 45 minutes behind, and you're talking an entire day's worth of vendors loading in. That's really good. So we always do that. We had one of the first available spots for Wednesday. So for us, drive straight to the building, go straight to the dock, start unloading. They give you these gigantic carts to use, which we don't normally have room for. We had 2 cars to unload, which is one more than normal, and we were still able to get everything unloaded in about 45 minutes.
One good thing for you guys, your booth is literally right next to the freight elevator.
Yeah, so we go down a hallway, hang a left, hop on the elevator, and when we get off, it's you walk out and it's immediately into our booth, which is really good. But also there's there's trade-offs to that. I'm like a small child. I get distracted easily, and Dragon
Oh,
Con
yes.
being
Talk
what it
about the
is,
sign. Talk about
you
the
have a lot of
sign.
your friends. Yeah, Jen was threatening, and I think she was probably going to do it next year because it happened a lot. Where she's going to get one of those signs that says like, "Please don't distract me. I'm trying to get work done, and I will talk to you all day long," something like that. So it's really great. But Dragon, you know, it's the same thing. Any show, you see all your people that you know and you like, and you only get to see, you know. For us, it's like 1 weekend a month, so it's fun to catch up with everybody. But our setup takes an entire day to do, so we're
Then some.
and then some. Sometimes, yeah. I always say it'll be done by the time the show opens. You give me
You make it
14
happen.
hours. Yeah, you give me 14 hours, it'll take 14 hours. You give me 4, it'll be 4.
And your breakdown was obviously a little harder because you didn't have your cart handily available.
No, yeah. Somebody borrowed our cart for a little longer than we thought,
Which-
but it was okay.
Which the picture that I'm teetering on posting.
I say you got to put it out there.
You saw it in person.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, it was so bad, Dylan, that I literally changed in front of him in the parking garage. I was like, I don't even care.
You post it, and we can all put the best caption we think for.
Yeah,
for
that's
it.
a good idea. That's a good idea. Well, I'll post it completely separate, and then we'll just say, caption this.
I think we'll get all of our unsubscribes after that, though. So maybe not.
I will warn you, as I warned you in the first part of this, it is freaking terrible. But whatever. It is what it is.
It's Atlanta.
It's Atlanta. Yeah.
August, September.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
It was warm. And we had to walk across the street, and, those things aren't light. Thank God I had the cart. I was going to have to carry those boxes.
Yeah.
But, all right, so let's just talk about your experience with the people. So this year, you went to a bigger booth, right?
Yep. Well, a bigger booth on purpose. So last year we did end up with 40 feet, but it was because I can't remember if somebody didn't show up or they got kicked out or something.
So strange. How do you not show up to this?
That's a fantastic question. I mean, I'm sure there's things that come up that make sense, but for me, as someone that did it last year, sick with pneumonia, you're gonna get there. You make it work. To be fair, I didn't know I had pneumonia, but
you had a rough year last year. You had COVID during Boston. You had pneumonia during Dragon.
Yeah, really tried to do me in.
Yeah.
But so this year, since we had another thing with Dragon is you renew while you're there. So, and you pay in full. So you are set. You are ready to go for the next year immediately.
And that's the lucky part about the downstairs. The third,
actually,
second, first floor allow that. Fourth floor is not.
Yeah, it's actually one of the bigger it's odd because we're all in the same room and the first 3 floors just have different rules and different procedures about a lot of stuff. And I know some of that is the building, some of that is Dragon Con. But luckily as vendors, we can say, yes, we want to come back. We want to do the same spot, or we can ask for modifications. You can only for sure lock in the same thing that you had this year. But since last year, we had kind of taken over that 4th spot, they offered it back to us. We did that. We locked in for 4 spots. I don't know what we were thinking now. It worked really well, but it was very hard.
I'm sure.
We did, yeah, because we
You're
love the punishment. Yeah. It was very difficult to only have 2 people. I think this year was the first time Jen and I talked to each other and we were like, this is the very first show that we've ever felt we needed people.
Jackson's getting old enough, right? He's ready to go.
I mean, 8's fine, right? He'll be 9 next year. So
yeah, so he should be ready.
He could just run and grab us some food. That's all I really need.
There. That's a good point. Well, it's funny because I came to have lunch with you the one day and, we left Jen a little bit by herself, but you had, you had the ability because you built yours out. We could kind of sit behind it and eat, so you could eat and work at the same time. Like I came up there just to chill for a few.
Yeah. Everything's built around having we have the nice little area up front, but we also have to have that spot in the back because sometimes you just got to go fix your face, having a bad time. You gotta get it together, or you just gotta chow down. You don't want to do it in front of someone. So since we don't really leave the booth, or we try not to leave the booth too much, you got to do it all. So we got our storage area back there.
And
I feel like there could be nobody around, and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna take one bite of this protein bar, and then like they walk by, and I'm like, okay,
1,000%,
every
yeah.
time.
But another thing, when you say you don't like to leave the booth, luckily for his booth, not only is his proximity to the elevator, but also the bathroom is literally 4 steps away.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's fun. It's nice to have the bathroom there, but also it's prime real estate because it's the men's bathroom right there on that corner. The women's is on the other corner at the other end. So it's like, guys come through, they're like, oh, I gotta use the bathroom. Whoever they're with has to kind of park themselves out in front of it, and then they turn around and they see a 40-foot section of our stuff, and it's hard for them to not just wander over there. Bad thing is they prop the doors open and you can see who doesn't wash their hands. So
Those
when
are
you
the
see
ones that want to
somebody
shake yours.
when you see somebody not wash their hand and they walk directly to you and like start looking at the booth and like trying to like touch things, I'm just like, please leave. I
can see why you
don't.
got sick so many times last year.
Yeah. Nobody washes their hands. They're all gross.
And so then talk more about the people then, because I always say that it's, I don't, I'm trying to think of a way to word it, but it's like, it's constantly busy.
Yeah.
It ends at 7, but there's people in there after 7 and they're like, come on, everybody, you have to go. Like they have to literally usher people out.
Yeah.
And
It's
no difference this year. And it's pretty packed. I mean, there's very, very small pockets of where, hey, I just don't see very many people.
absolutely had more transactions this year. Just on cards alone, we were up in transactions. I want to say it was an extra like 15% of like just number of transactions. And then that's only the card stuff. The cash stuff is like we can't even keep track of that because it just comes so fast.
Yeah.
It's like, because we try to keep track of that in Square, but when people do the coasters, they have just like coasters in their hand and cash in the other, and they're just like doing four, and it's just like, okay, thank you. So it's like this show more than any, like I said, specifically on Friday this year. So also weird traffic patterns with this show because the show's so big, takes over so much of Atlanta. You have the parade is every Saturday. You have all these parties. You have the art show in a different building. You have just, the fact that there isn't a wait to get in. Like, it doesn't follow your normal, Friday, Saturday, Sunday type thing. It goes, for us, it's been Friday and Sunday are the biggest days. And then Saturday is actually one of the middle of the road, and then Monday does okay because a lot of people will check out of their room, then go through the vendor hall one last time to grab all the stuff that they couldn't carry. So for Ryan and Meg, it might be canvases. For us, it's, like the big wooden pieces and stuff like that. Things that were like, oh man, this didn't do so hot this week. That's like Monday, they all just fly out the door. So it's really kind of odd. We've got, this year was, Friday was our biggest day. Friday ended up being our biggest day ever for any show. Which, for being a 4-day show, having the first day be the biggest day is kind of wild.
It's all let down after that.
But it be New York. Yeah, actually, that was a funny conversation because we were like, we got through this, and it was like, we don't have to worry about anything anymore because we handled this. But then, Saturday was normal. Sunday was good. It was better than others, but it just never really peaked the way that we thought it would. And then Monday actually ended up being really good. So I think Friday and Monday were our 2 days this year.
Well, it's exciting. You said you're getting New York numbers on the first day. Like, I mean, yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it was wild.
How did it compare to previous years? Because in previous years, Sunday, I think it was Sunday, is generally our best day.
Mm-hmm.
How did Friday being your best compare to previous?
So here's the thing is, like, ours, typically Sunday's our best day there also. And I think
Okay.
that's pretty normal for a lot of people.
Well, that's the thing is 'cause with different floors, I'm not sure how that translates. So that's good.
I think in this, just I don't really know for sure because we don't have any way to find out, I believe. But I think Friday people are still like getting into like, woohoo, Dragon Con. Like, I'm gonna go party, right? And then Saturday you have the parade, and then Sunday is kind of like everybody's almost like their cool off day. For a lot of people, it's their last day. They have to leave. So I think Sunday has historically been bigger for most people.
Sense.
That
makes sense.
I don't know. But for us, so we were up, like I said, 40% over last year, which is insane because Dragon was already one of our biggest shows. So 40% of a big number was a lot.
It's a big number.
Yeah. So, Friday being the biggest day, we were kind of like worried about it, but then ended up being Saturday was the next highest Dragon Con day we ever had, and then Sunday ended up beating Saturday, and then Monday ended up beating Sunday. So it was like every day was already like, had it not been for Friday, would have been the biggest day we ever had at Dragon.
How much would you attribute that to having the 40-foot spread? I guess you had the 40-foot booth last year, and you're up over that. But
yeah, we had the 40-foot last year, but it was like an accidental 40-foot. Like, we were set up for 30 with a corner. Ryan even helped us out last year.
We had to move it.
Yeah, we got the call like right before the show started, or at the end of the first day. I can't even remember. And was like, "Hey, do you want to take up this space?" And we literally picked all the grid wall up and like turned it into like made it work for 40 feet. So it
was it kind of similar to how Denver, where you had 20,
very similar to Denver. Yeah,
Denver they had 20 feet, and what, 2 people didn't show up, so you had to expand to 40 or something, right?
Yeah,
or was
ended
it
up
just
doing
30?
40.
Yeah,
which it makes me even more grateful to have pro panels now, because changing
very modular.
Yeah, changing pro panels to 40 feet is a lot easier than the grid wall was. But I do think we've had a little bit of practice with 40-foot booths now, so we know how to set it up. One thing is we did change over to pro panels 3 or 4 shows ago, and I just think it looks better. It's a better presentation. We did some new kind of like things to update the look, so we have new banners, kind of like a cohesive scheme.
The banners look amazing, by the way. Shameless Premier Event Printing plug. Sorry.
Yes, I was waiting for that. Yeah, Premier Event Printing. We got all our banners. Actually, I'm going to order some more this week. So,
PremierEventPrinting.com.
Yes, amazing cloth banners.
Or any kind of banners.
Or any kind of banner.
Or prints, for sure. Or anything you need for all of your convention needs. Where were we?
Thank you to our sponsor. So I think part of it's that also we've learned that, like, so when you have a smaller space, it's easy just to say, all right, this is the section for this stuff. It's kind of regular like merchandising that you would do for retail. But when you have 40 feet, it's so much space that if something catches their eye over here, they have 30 more feet that they have to look at. So they could miss a lot of things. So you kind of have to actually almost double some stuff up. So like some of your heavy hitters you want to put in strategic places.
So I always say, if you have a 10 by 10 booth, you have that person's attention for like 3-4 steps, right? As they're walking by, you have to catch their eye. If you have a 10 by 20, now you have 6 to 8 steps, right? So then just keep going with that. So you have to, as they're walking, more than likely they're looking. So you have to catch their eye in those number of steps. So obviously the bigger space, but when you're on one corner, sometimes you may catch somebody on a side corner. So you have to have something to catch their eye over there. So that's how I think like the expansion part really helps.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Also,
and you think having a third person spreading out would have helped with sales? Yeah.
I
Just
do
another
think
third
so.
checkout device.
There was, because you get into these transactions, and then it's like you look over, you see someone that clearly is they're doing that thing where you can just see that they're wanting to talk to someone, and you
The
want to
clock's
get over
ticking.
there.
They're like, they're just
But
about to leave.
exactly, it's like a quick time event in a video game. It's like, take care of this thing so you can get to this thing, and then you look over and you see, I see Jen talking to someone else, and she's noticing the same person. We're kind of looking at each other, and it's by the time you get done with what's going on, that person's, they're over it, they're gone. Which happens. Sometimes people want to wait around, and that is amazing that people want to, be so patient and have, their limited amount of time that they can spend in this place. They don't mind waiting for you for a little bit. But yeah, I do think having a third person, at least to be a runner, or, just kind of step in and like kind of fill those gaps, just saying, hey, check out somebody, how you doing, sort of thing, would have helped us a little bit, at least on like 2 of the days. Outside of that, I think we mostly had it, but it is a lot of work. You just have to find that balance. It's like, would those missed sales have been worth paying someone, X amount? I don't. I know Dylan and Ryan. I know both of y'all have people, so we've never had people, and I have no idea how that works. It's always just been the two of us. So.
And we were training this year too, so we had an extra person with us at Dragon. So it's nice. I'll tell you that. I don't know how it works, but it's nice.
Yeah, I have no idea.
You can take an extended lunch if you want and go hang out at your booth and not have to worry about anything.
Yeah, I think the dream one day, right, would be just to be able to like, let's just go grab lunch and just leave the room.
Don't tell Meg that. I don't know what day it was. She's like, hey, I'm gonna go get lunch, and it was like noon. She didn't get back till like 2:45. She like left she left the building and went like up the street. Of course,
came back with some shoes instead of food.
Unfortunately, no. Luckily, she didn't. But she didn't go to. Let's just say she didn't go to McDonald's to eat. We'll just say there is a Ruth's Chris right around the corner.
I was gonna say she went to the Hard Rock, right?
Yeah. Whereas I think next year, Jeremy, we can work it out. You and I can run up to Hooters. That's within walking distance.
Oh, well, actually, so we did do one new thing, and I think it was really fun. We actually got into the phone booth speakeasy restaurant this year.
Phone booth speakeasy.
Yeah, see, you don't even know about it.
No.
So top secret.
Okay. Is it a phone booth?
It's literally,
that's the entrance, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Google it.
All right. We'll have to check it out.
Jeremy, do you have any advice for, I guess, new people coming to Dragon Con, or even people trying to get into Dragon Con?
Yeah. Actually, I could talk about this part a lot. Getting into Dragon Con, partially luck, but really, it's like one of those things. Dragon Con sees a lot of things. So if you're at shows, someone from Dragon Con may be there. I know that they have picked people out at other shows saying, hey, we like your stuff. You want to come to Dragon Con? Another thing is, pay attention to the dates. They open, I think, at the beginning of the year, and they close by like February or March. It's like a really small window to apply. Get really good booth photos. It's presentation matters.
Absolutely.
So they do care about that sort of thing. Having a unique product. If you've got something that there's already 3 or 4 of at Dragon, they're not going to let you in. Even you could probably have the best version of it, but they're not going to let you in because they do protect their vendors, and they want to make sure that the people that are there are, because like, once you're in, you're kind of considered like in the family sort of thing, and they want you to do well. So if they're bringing in random people that are going to like take some of your business, take some of your money, they try to keep that balance to where they're not going to just let in something just because it's like that great. So also on the flip side of all that, if you don't get in and you do have something really great, it's not necessarily because they don't like your stuff. It's because of another reason. I think if you do get a rejection, if you can ask for feedback, I know they've been known to give feedback. Like, just, we have a lot of other stuff like this. I know there's people that got in off of one product, and they say you can only come with this one product. And if that works for you, you can do that. If not, then don't. That's your thing.
So I know Alexa was offered a while. I don't know if it was a couple years back to only bring her. I think it was the whiskey glasses or something, and
Yeah.
she said no.
So they actually have. There's other glass people there, and like I said, they could see something and think it's the best. Like I said, the best version of something. But if there's something established already there, they're just going to protect the people that are already there. So,
and I guess that's why the sales are so high for everybody. And I always do appreciate curated shows over just whoever can book the show first.
It's really nice. Now, that being said, once you're in, you're in.
And
you can tell that there are people.
Downstairs.
Yeah, and that's another thing. So once you're on first 3 floors, once you're in, you're in. But also there's rules. So if you do get in, pay attention to your email. Pay attention to the rules. Because it is such a competitive show to get into, they will walk you out of that show. Doesn't matter if you spent all day getting set up. Doesn't matter if it's middle of the week. They will walk you out of that show.
If you were to say bring something other than just the whiskey glasses that you were told to only bring.
Yep. And with that, you probably will you'll be like, hey, just get rid of this stuff. And if they walk by and they see that you still have it out, then you're gone. Subletting, selling badges, like anything like that, they zero tolerance for. There's been people that have done Dragon for years and years and years that just let somebody, grab a little bit of table space, and the wrong person walks by and sees it, and it's like, who are you? And that's it. Everybody's out. They're blacklisted. That's just kind of like the deal. Like when you have a number of applications every year that it has to be in the thousands, and you only have a handful of free spots every year because everybody renews.
It's like a 99.9% rebook, right?
I would have to think so. Yeah.
Except for your neighbors, Jeremy.
Yeah, they keep dropping. I keep saying so we have 4 booths, and you get to know people. They don't move booths every year, so everybody is kind of like in their spot. We keep joking that our eventual goal is to take over the entire row, and because you can't ignore us then.
Can you ignore it now at this 40 feet? Jeez.
No, they can't. Also, one cool thing about being next to the bathroom is a lot of people would hate being up against a wall, but not at this show. This show's fine because you're either looking at people not washing their hands in the bathroom or at our booth.
And the hall is not the biggest, so I just feel like each floor is not super huge, so people are going to walk down every aisle and every row and look at everything.
They generally try. When it gets busy, you can tell people are just trying to get through. They they just don't want to have the time or whatever. But it being a vertical building, I'm sure there's other places that do, like Pensacon, kind of an odd setup, but it's also very small. There's other arena shows, but I don't know. I've never been to another show that's in like a vertical space. And on paper, I'd be like, that doesn't sound like it would work, but it really does work. I think people do take the time to go through every spot and kind of check everything out. So I think placement doesn't matter a whole lot. I will say,
I agree.
I think we went over it last year. They filter in the morning when they bring people into the building. They kind of stage them at every floor. So you have people at every floor. When after that kind of initial rush, I think they mostly send people to second floor, maybe first and second floor, and then they have to work their way up. I could be completely off on that, but I think that's the deal. So I think a lot of people want to be on the first or second floor because of that, but honestly, I don't think it really matters.
No, I'd agree.
It's just more about when those people come through, but I think they're coming through either way.
All right.
But you rebooked. You're gonna be back. You're gonna have the whole floor to yourself in a couple years.
Yep. Floor tools for Scorched.
Yeah.
Any parting
Scorched
words
floor.
of wisdom for Dragon Con for you?
For Dragon Con, just you gotta just embrace it and let it happen. It's a big show. It's scary. If you've never done, a giant show like that, the cool thing is they do get a lot of people in where it's like their first real big show. Pay attention to your emails. Stay close by, unless you just really love Atlanta traffic.
Sounds like it's either Atlanta traffic or it's downstairs. That you
Yeah,
gotta deal with.
we have a secret hotel that I like to stay at that's quiet. It'll remain. That'll be my secret that I keep with me. But yeah, stay nearby if you can. If not, if you can find a room. If not, just deal with the traffic, Uber in, whatever you got to do. Yeah, just it's a great show. Try to get in. Don't skip it because you think you can't get in or whatever. I think it's worth trying. Because I feel like if you get in, the people are great. The show's great. It's a really fun show to do. So give it a go.
All right, man. It's been super helpful.
Yeah, no, it's been great. And since we're talking about Dragon, I want to give a shout out to Tracy. She loves me.
Tracy does love you, yes.
And I know she listens, so I hope she doesn't get me kicked out of the show just for saying hello.
That was your one.
All right, well, Jeremy, tell everybody where to find you on all the socials.
Socials, it's Scorched Design, 2Ds on pretty much everything. Don't have a TikTok. We're kind of old. We don't have like TikTok and stuff like that. So
you're not Skibbity.
Facebook,
Skibbity, Ohio.
No, not very Sigma of us, but you can. It's Instagram, Facebook. We're real bad about posting everything just because we're so busy, but we're trying.
Yeah, and we are doing the same. We're posting now, so Conjob, obviously, if you're watching or listening, we have a Facebook and a Instagram. The Instagram is Dylan. You're supposed to step in there now. You got nothing for me.
_job, maybe no underscore. It'll be in the description.
It's Conjob Pod. Conjob Pod on Instagram. We are Conjob on Facebook, and then obviously, if on YouTube, we're Conjob as well. So. Yeah, so like, follow, subscribe, just comment, give me anything. Give me anything and everything, and go on and buy Jeremy
Smash
stuff.
the like button.
Yes.
Hit the alarm bell. The bell.
Hit the alarm bell. Yeah, hit the alarm bell.
So that every time they post new content.
Yeah.
And that stuff.
And leave a comment just to tell us how, how great Jeremy's hair is and how terrible mine is.
And if you don't like this one,
you'll also get...
then the one that we recorded before was definitely better.
Of course, yeah.
Agreed. All right. Thanks again, everybody. We'll see you next week.